Hello guys, how's it going? I'm going to be introducing very shortly a special guest. I'm very grateful to have my channel after around month 7 on YouTube. So I'm sure those of you have watched this thumbnail, this title already. You probably know who it is. It is, of course, Richard Rodriguez. How you doing?
I'm good.
Nice. What have you been up to today?
Well, just it was kind of a routine day. I had a quick job to do this morning. I had to fix an air conditioner for somebody. Then I came back. Then I made my lunch. I cooked 2 pounds of meat. I got the meat on sale. Was it 2 days ago at the Cuban Winn-Dixie? It was $2.78 a pound for a top round. So I put 2 pounds of that into the pot. I boiled it up and I ate it. And of course, like the typical caveman I am, I didn't even use the knife or fork or anything. I just put it on a plate and start chewing on it. And then I was watching some videos and commenting. Usually when I come home to eat lunch, I'll watch and comment any interesting videos I find on YouTube. It's since I don't watch TV, I guess that's my substitute for TV. And then I viewed your video as I always do, and then now I'm here.
Sounds right. Not a bad day. Today I got up quite early, had breakfast. I spoke to Bart K for about an hour and a quarter. We had an excellent discussion. That video, there'll be about 3 or 4 videos of that which will come out. Honestly, that's probably the best talk that Bart K has ever done. I'm not exaggerating. I asked him quite profound questions, but useful questions, things that people think, I didn't know that, or that would be useful to apply in real life. So I'm excited to hear that one. Then I went to the gym very quickly. Then I had a consultation. Then I messed around with videos and editing and stuff. I wrote a bit more in the Carnivore bodybuilding, nutrition and training book, which is exclusive and probably going to be published in about 2 months. I wrote that with Jerome Armstrong, who's a member of my channel, which I'm sure everyone will know. Other than that, I've been blue tacking these sponge panels behind me. You might not be able to see them in the light very well. For the best part of about 3 hours a day, every day for last week. Lots of fighting with technology and foam and things and glue and here's a load more blue tack. I've probably had about 10 packs of blue tack I've used. So I can't drill things into holes into walls and things. So it's blue tack or nothing at this point. That's about it, I think. Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, in fact, I'm doing something similar. I'm using my extra storage room. I'm going to try to make that into some kind of home studio. But, there's all kinds of repairs. I mean, the roof leaked. I had to temporarily fix that. I'm going to rebuild all of that pretty soon. But, it's a work in progress. It's just everything here is so old and it needs to be redone. But little by little, I work for whatever I need to earn income. And then when I have extra time, I'll work here. So basically my life is work, eat, and sleep. That's pretty much it.
It doesn't sound too bad. It sounds quite an honest way of living, to be honest. I admire that. I wish I had half the skills that you had in different things. I can't do anything with cars. I can't paint. I can't put roofs or fix things. I'm pretty much useless. But I can make somewhat decent videos sometimes and talk to people online and try to say intelligent things on the odd occasion. That's about it.
Well, I think that if you had the opportunity and you were doing the things that I was doing, you'd be fine because it doesn't take any special abilities to be able to learn how to do things. All it takes is, enough health and strength where you can do it and the willingness to learn. So you might be surprised. In the future, you'll probably move somewhere else. You may live in a more rural area and you'll have to learn a lot of things. And you might be surprised what you can do. I always say that if other people can do it, why can't I?
Yeah, I must admit, I always think of a few people when that comes to mind. So, first person is my stepdad. He's not what you'd call well-educated. Has no academic real experience. He's got a City of Guilds qualification, I believe, in bricklaying or carpentry, something like that. So, a very it's a good qualification, but it's very limited in what you can use it with. Now, saying that, he is very, very, very intelligent. So no education, but extremely intelligent. He ran his own business, buying, selling, and repairing aircraft parts, fixing jet engines and all sorts of things, which is insane. So just goes to show you don't need the qualifications I've got to be intelligent or be savvy or, I think a lot of people waste money as well. Actually, I'm just reminded by the fact that we've got my friend Matthew in the chat at the moment. So appreciate him joining us. He's in Finland, and he's taught me a lot of interesting things. One about audio. So here's my invisible penis, as you can imagine. So that and different like little hacks. So like finding ways to attach things to walls and covering things and light. So it's interesting, really, the amount of people that want to help you out and give you advice and do it so willingly. I think it's like the right place at the right time, then things become a bit smoother, I think.
Oh, I agree. But I think a lot of it is that when you have people that you associate with that have common goals, many times they'll want to help because a lot of people, they tend to be competitive in the way that they believe that if they get in front of everybody else, they're going to win. But
Yeah.
I know in my case, it's a little different because I believe in sort of, I don't know if you'd describe it, it's like an additive type thing. It's not just being an island, but it's having yourself surrounded by other people that are able to do something like you can or other things that you can't do, and you all work together. So instead of having one single point of failure, you have all these individuals that are working in the same direction. So instead of having to push everybody down to lift you up, as they get together, it's actually lifting everybody up. So and I think that's one of the reasons why you may experience people that want to help. And I like that. And that's really, in this carnivore community, it seems to be better than any of the other groups of people that I've known.
Oh, yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, if I post anything on Facebook, like I use it predominantly for advertising, YouTube, my nutrition consultancy, things like that. But if I post anything on there, I can be guaranteed surefire that I'll get 10, 20, 30 likes on every post I make. Those people aren't giving me anything, but they're promoting me by liking my stuff. So they're saying, I like what you do, so I want to push this forward. So I do value that a lot. And it's almost strange now because I get these things, like after this video specifically, I might have 50 notifications on my phone. That's quite normal. Most of them will be likes, some comments, but just general support. So I'm in this kind of frame of mind where, although it is time consuming to make videos and do stuff, create things, try to do a lot of things behind the scenes, which you guys will see eventually. When it all comes together, it's very profound because you realize how many people are in your corner. Like you just said, like so many people are in your corner. We've actually got, speaking of which, we've got Sophie in the chat, and she'll be joining with us soon if that's all right. So I'm looking forward to that. I just thought it'd be good to get her to collaborate because we're not joined with Jerome today, and Jerome can't be with us sadly today. He's quite busy, so Sophie's a substitute.
That's a good person to be here. That's for sure. Part of the team.
Yeah, I think between us three, we make a very good team. My little dog George is sat down here right now. He's not doing a lot, but he's probably too hot. I can't really get him up because it's too hard to move him. Once he's there, you know. Anyway, we will open up the panel for some questions if anyone's got any. You can direct them to Rick or myself or both. I don't mind. I'd be happy to help and give you some answers. This is Rick's first live session, so I'm glad we're able to do this. I'm glad he's done it on my channel. It means a lot. Excellent. So joined with loads of people. Got Zbigniew, Sophie, Addicted to Antlers, Nomad Man, Carnivore, Karsten. And Sophie just said, you're obviously a better substitute. Yeah. You could do anything you set your mind to, pretty much. Yeah, I think so. I kind of made this video the other day, and I'm sure you're probably bored of me saying this, but I had spine fusion surgery exactly 6 months ago to the day. And in that time, I've gained 0.9 kilograms of muscle mass. So my body's been in a state of disability, lack of mobility, ineffectiveness, and I've been able to build muscle. So that tells you can build muscle on the carnivore diet. So it's meant to be a challenging thing. Like I've been training now for like 15 years, and I've managed to do that. Like that's profound. So, oh yeah. I know, Kyle. Honestly, it's like the best thing ever. I'm glad to do this. I'm recording this as well, Rick, just so you know, through audio, so it might make a nice few clips out of it.
Excellent.
Yeah, I think I don't know. What do you think of the clips? I know because I put quite a lot of them out.
Well, it's a good repeat for some of the live or the premieres that you've had, and then you can review different points. I watch every one that I can, and the
Mm.
good thing is they're normally on around my lunchtime. So if I come home for lunch at my regular time, I will watch, and you'll see me there. I always comment. I do tend to comment on every carnivore video that I find, so that's a good thing right there.
That's nice. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this studio that you're setting up. I know you've got an interesting idea about it. Are you able to share any of that at all, or is that all hidden?
I'm going to have to make a video on that. The room was so full of junk. It was dangerous. I started going in there. I started going through things. Everything was falling down. I had termites that ate some of the shelves. They collapsed. I threw out 2 garbage cans full of stuff. Some of the stuff is stuff I got from my mother's house. Some of it is stuff that I had just laying around. And I had my friend left a bunch of stuff over here for me to store because he moved out and then he couldn't afford his storage. So I used that room as a storage. So I'm just trying to get what I can. At least I consolidated it, and eventually it'll be under control. But everything takes time, and when I work, I can't do it all day. But over the weekend, I had no work, so I was just here Saturday and Sunday. I'm part of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I've been going crazy trying to go through things.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. It'll be unique, that's for sure.
Everything I have is unique.
Yeah, in a way, like the more junk you have in your house, I think the better the sound quality is. Like, I've got an old carpet that's like 10 years old under me, just to reduce some of the acoustic reverberation. Like that.
I have an over 50-year-old shag rug that was put in, I think, when Nixon was president, because I got so much old stuff. This old couch this room is full of books. There are books all over except for on the window, and you don't really get much of an echo in here. Everyone tells me that it sounds good, and every room in this house is like that because there's so many bookcases and so many things that there's just nothing to echo.
Yeah, my room's not too bad for that. I've got obviously, I don't know how big my room is. I couldn't say, but I mean, this is like, so I've got my bed which is in front of me. So my feet are actually on the edge of my bed right now. I do have a desk, of course. It's got an L-shaped desk. I've got a TV there, but I'd never really use it apart from to watch films and sometimes. That's got foam pads on, like you've just seen. My bed is also there. Curtains, wall. So the only wall that is in proximity of me that doesn't have covering is that one. But it's quite far away, to be fair, so it's not too bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, quite happy with it all. It's nice as well because I can do all my work here. So it's nice here because I can lean back, sit down. I'm quite comfortable. If I have breakfast in the morning, I can just swoop to this side. I've got an L-shaped desk, so I can have it there. And I've even got foam panels on the desk itself. So I've tried to make the sound as good as possible because I honestly got so fed up because I spent so much time, I'll say some money as well, on different microphone setups. And it was just, I didn't know how to use them. A lot of the microphones as well were quite trashy, so that's probably part of the problem. But it's interesting to see with a bit of time and effort, and I've had a lot of donations to my channel as well, which has enabled me to buy these things. So a good microphone, light panels, stuff like stands. It has all helped because I think the sort of content I'm putting out, a lot of it is the time me talking to a camera. So it's important that I'm heard. Like, you can kind of see me, but the most important thing is like people can hear what I'm saying. Even like I'm sure you know about it, but like the processing that you have on your microphone. So I've got a very deep voice, which means I'm trying to emphasize the higher tones to my voice. So what you hear through the computer right now as you're watching this, guys, doesn't match my actual voice. My actual voice is quite a bit deeper than what you hear. But then you won't understand me. So,
Well, that's it. I don't have any of that as of yet. I mean, I did have years ago when I used to make tutorial videos. I had a mixer which is still here, but it broke. The power supply went out on it, and I couldn't. So what I've done, I just use a simple mixer like you would use. I had an attorney years ago, and we set up a conference room that we had in his office, and we had these Shure mixers that we use with the microphone. And the reason I have one of those is because this is a condenser mic, and they need some power. They need that 48 volts to be able to work. So I just have that hooked up straight to the audio jack going in my computer. So I haven't really been able to do anything with processing. So I don't know how good or bad the sound is, but what you hear is basically what you get.
Yeah. Yeah, Rick, apparently you're too loud, so I've just reduced your volume by about 20% or so.
Okay, yeah. See, I have no way of controlling it. Well,
Yeah.
I do have on the computer I could adjust it. Not sure how
Okay.
well it works.
Yeah, it's set to auto adjust, so I'm quite surprised that's happening. It
Yeah,
might just be the pitch or something, I don't know. But
it
I'm
could
gonna
be.
bring yeah, anyway, let me know in the chat guys if it's too bad. I'm gonna bring Sophie on now. Sophie's made it.
There we go.
Hello.
Sophie, how's it going?
Hello.
Oh, I'm tired, hot and bothered, and I just want to go to bed.
How's work?
Very long and very hot in that uniform.
How do you think I felt? I was lying around all day in my boxers
Well, lucky
with
you.
a fan on me. I'm actually sweaty now, but I've got these light panels. I was very stupid. I didn't take my friend's advice. I didn't take Matthew's advice about putting the pillowcase over the cover, but I'm sat here now and it's hot. So I might just have to turn it off, honestly.
Yeah.
You can't see me
It's
now.
it's so hot and humid here you can't even see out the window. It's all condensed with water. That's how hot and humid it is.
Yeah.
We're
I
just
guess
not
we're
used
back.
to the heat over here, are we? That's the thing.
No, definitely not. No.
I think it's going to be 94 degrees Fahrenheit today. So it gets hot here a lot. And the humidity's close to 100%.
Wow.
I wouldn't survive, would I?
No, that's a problem here. It's the mugginess. I love the heat. I love the sunshine when I'm not working because I'm in the full greens ambulance gear. It's very thick. And we have to wear a top underneath the top in case we get bodily fluids on our green top so that we can take it off to change. And then obviously we're in steel toe cap boots. So it's all a heavy, thick uniform. So, but I love the heat when I'm at home in the garden, chilling.
Yeah,
Tanning.
Sophie and I, we're outside, Rick, as much as humanly possible. Like, if there's a moment spare where we can just go outside and do some grounding, we're on it straight away.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how many opportunities you get in the part of the world that you live in. I always view it as being some kind of dark and rainy place.
It's a dark and rainy
Yeah.
place. That's a very accurate explanation of where we live. Yeah, so it's funny. People, I think people like say we're pale and stuff. I'm like, well, yeah, no wonder there is no sun. Like, what'd you expect?
Oh.
So when
Well,
there is
that's
sun, we make
that's
the
a
most
good
of it.
thing. There's nothing wrong with being pale. I think that's a good thing. I mean, I'm pale too. It's just I guess it's a genetic thing. I mean, my
Rick,
face isn't that.
You've got to be
Yeah.
careful what you say, Rick. People are going to say you're racist or something.
Oh,
I just think
Well-
everyone looks better with a tan. Like I prefer me with a tan. I feel like I look better.
I've been dark.
Mm.
I've been really dark. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I've been darker than this, but I can't sit out with the kids.
I spend a lot of time outside, so I try to avoid it whenever I can. When I get to be inside, the only thing is I don't like being in artificial light very much because I don't feel good. If I work inside of an office that doesn't have natural light, I can't. I fall asleep. I get distracted. But if I have my window, I have a window right here. I get natural light even when I'm indoors.
Yeah. I think a lot of the problems I have with my little setup is I get all the daylight throughout the day, but sometimes it's too much. So I have to close the curtain a lot of the time. They're saying that what I've noticed with this red light I've got here, I've got another one over there, like I said earlier, is it really calms me down. I instantly feel within like a minute my heart rate goes down. I feel less stressed. Something does work, and I noticed this as well. I was doing a workout maybe 2 months ago, and I actually wore my blue blocking glasses. So not the orange ones that people typically wear, but the yellower sort of ones,
Yeah.
the less restrictive blue light blocking glasses. And in the gym, I thought I was going to fall asleep. I felt so I'm obviously very light sensitive.
Yeah.
Like right now, I feel a lot less stressed than I did 5 minutes ago.
It's interesting you mentioned that because years ago when I was building my house, I put neon lights inside and out, and I actually have some red lights in the house. So I turn that on at night. Usually after 8 o'clock, I switch to the red lights.
Yeah, we do, don't we? Try and get them
Yeah.
on. We, like turn off the artificials and put on the red.
Yeah, I got gifted this handy little thing. I might bring it over in a sec, but it's basically on a tripod you can take off. It's about that big, like square. You turn it on, different colours, lights, all sorts of things, effects. Honestly, it's like one button, turn it on, put it on charge the next day, turn it on.
It's fantastic.
It's miraculous. For something that was like $40 or something, it's been a game changer. We use it everywhere. If we go away for a week or something, or went
Yeah,
to
we
two
took
places
it.
recently. Yeah.
Yeah, we took it, didn't we?
Yeah. Went to the Sheffield event, the public health collaboration. We saw Sean Baker, and we used it there, and we also used it in our holiday, wherever that was.
You know, it's funny you mentioned Sean Baker because 2 days ago I actually got an email from his Rivero group that they finally wanted to interview me. So that'll be very interesting.
I'm quite shocked. Quite shocked they haven't already asked you.
No,
I'm getting, I'm getting Harry Sopranos on Sean Baker's video soon. That's gonna be fun. They only give you an hour.
Yeah.
So if you know what
That's
I'm like
fine.
for answers, and Harry's even worse.
Well, that's good. Hey, every little bit helps, right?
Yeah.
Don't mention touring.
Don't mention touring.
Don't
No, he'll mention touring for you. You don't need to worry about that. I think the funny thing about Harry's channel is, which I say funny, it's kind of strange. He's only got like 3,400 subscribers. I have more than him. His information's far passes mine. The quality of his information does surpass mine. I'm just amazed that he doesn't have more clicks. Even the Harry Sopranos clips, which is someone that makes his videos for him, I mean in short form format, they've got like 1,000 subscribers. I'm like, this guy knows his shit. Why has he not been promoted more? It's such a shame.
Yeah.
Well, I have a pretty good idea why. You know, most people, the shorter the video and the stupider the video, the more attention it gets. I mean, otherwise, how could somebody like Greg Doucette get so many views, considering that I can't listen to his video for more than 5 minutes without being extremely annoyed?
You need some sort of voice changer output, don't you, to make it sound a bit
Is he the
better?
high-pitched one?
Oh, I gotta
He's
sound
the
like a parrot.
Oh, it's him, yeah.
Oh,
Crazy.
Yeah,
God.
yeah. I can't stand him. But he puts that on for YouTube, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
He
I don't know
puts that
why
on
he'd
for
want to.
YouTube.
It's a first law of thermodynamics. Blah, 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 calories in, calories out. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, I can't stand
Yeah.
him. It's terrible.
It's amazing. I mean, it's hard to say with different YouTubers whether them having such a strong positive online influence is a net positive or a net negative. Like, is it that he's converting more people onto somewhat a whole foods diet, or is he just taking them completely away from what they're meant to be eating? That's what I'm not sure about.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
He gets
true.
people in shape. Like he promotes like being fitter, which is something like that's a good thing. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Well, what I have a problem with a lot of these fitness people is that they seem to think that you can simply become healthy by moving more and eating less. And I've never believed that. I've always said a person who is unhealthy cannot exercise effectively because they don't have the health to do it. You have to start off with a good diet and good health and then do the exercise. I think they got it backwards.
Yeah. But yeah, we know diet is what, 80%? And
Yeah.
then exercise makes up the rest. Like, you can be healthy and not exercise. It's just good to get into the habit to, you know, strengthen your bones and everything.
Yeah.
Just feel good. Like, I feel better when I've done my gym session. I feel knackered, but I feel better afterwards.
See, in my case, I hate exercise. I've forced myself to go to the gym. I hate gyms like you wouldn't believe. I did have a home gym for a while, and it wasn't too bad, but, you know, I didn't get a lot of results, and I think a lot of the problem was I was starting a business at the time. I was too busy in the office, so it didn't work the way I expected. But, you know, the good thing is I think that if the way that I've eaten for so many years, I could probably do it again, and I think I might have better results than other people my age. So that would prove my theory in a way that one of the most important things is to start with health and then move on to the exercise.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to do that.
What was that?
There's so many
Looked like my
Donovan.
Looked like my old TV.
It is, isn't it? And it bounces from like corner to corner.
I used to have an old black and white TV, and you had to hit it when I was a kid.
Oh,
We
my
had-
nan had one of them. It's like that thick, And it has like a fuzzy screen, and you like tap it and stuff happens.
I still have one somewhere in storage. I kept a lot of the junk that I had when I was a kid, and that's another thing. People, they say, "Oh, what is that?" You know, they'll look at something like my phone. They say, "Well, what is?" If I don't drop everything in the process, what is this thing? You know, it's a phone.
You press
have
the
to
buttons.
dial. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the buttons are for the lines, and they say, "Well, that's where they get the name dial the phone." Oh, how do you know that? Well, that was what I had when I was a kid. Well, you're not that old. Yes, I am. I'm older than you think.
Rick, how old are you?
50, I'm going to be 55 next week.
A little bit older than Bart K. Yeah, you're not doing bad. My dad... I always think that Rick looks like a skinny version of my dad.
Yeah, maybe
That's
slightly
good.
paler. Because your dad's quite thin.
My dad's not fat. He's not fat, but like a thinner, taller, longer version sort of thing.
That's good to know.
Yeah. You've got similar hair as well.
Yeah, definitely similar. Same complexion. Like, Rick, do you go quite dark when you're in the sun for too long?
Oh, yeah, I can.
Yeah. You guys have a little ramble. I'm going to try and find a photo of my dad.
Little ramble. Why is this ramblings?
This is an exclusive episode.
Oh, fantastic. I'm obviously the better substitute for Jerome. We'll tell him that. He'll watch this.
Yeah, that's good. Well, you know, like I said, this is the first time that I've done a live on anywhere. You know, I've done recorded interviews. And you remember, until, what was it, last year, I hadn't even done a recorded interview. It's just that when Joey had contacted me for an interview, and then that started it. So ever since then, I've been following YouTube a lot more closely than I used to.
Well, you're doing good. I mean, I still get nervous going on a live. I still get nervous going in front of the camera. I hate it, but I do it for...
I don't get nervous. You know, before this, I mean, I taught at the college for like from 2000 to 2013. I got in front of groups all the time. When I had my business, I did a lot of conferences, and, you know, it was just normal for me getting in front of a crowd and trying to engage with them, make sure that they don't fall asleep. That's the main thing. So that was one of my big skills. I was able to view what people were doing. You know, maybe they're falling asleep, and at least back then they didn't have that many cell phones. Today, I'm sure everyone is just there with their phone all the time.
Oh yeah, they're just glued to it.
But if there was things were getting a little too boring, I would try to change the tone or something like that. But some of the lectures I've had to sit through were so bad, and I'm trying to hold my eyes open. You know, it's like that movie, what is it, Clockwork Orange, where they put these little things in your eyes and then they put the drops in. That's what I felt like sometimes with some of these seminars. And I used
to hate some of the seminars and lectures in university. So I was given, I don't know what to call it, like an accessibility thing where I could basically not go into university and I could have someone go in there to write the lecture notes for me. I purely went to see what I could learn. I did have some good, excellent lecturers that were quite engaging. Like, imagine if I had Bart K as my lecturer, brilliant, I would have learnt a lot. But some were like, oh, come on. You couldn't answer questions properly. It was usually a case of, oh, I'm not sure about that, I'll get back to you. And they're just reading off a slide, and it's just dull. Like, anyway, getting back to my dad anyway, so...
Aha.
You see what I mean?
I see the similarity.
Yeah.
You can see where the good looks in the family come from.
Yeah, me. I started it.
What, as the younger one?
As a young one, reverse aging.
That's like me saying that when I'm the youngest sibling.
Might try and find a picture of my brother.
You all look very similar, to be fair. Like, you can tell that you're all related.
Yeah, it's the nose. We all say it's the nose. This is my older brother, so he's...
Okay. Yeah, there's definitely a similarity.
Yeah, I've got smaller eyes, smaller nose.
You're the only one in the family with light hair.
That's right. Yeah, my mum. I get that from my mum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Not such a bad thing.
Light-haired one.
Yeah, definitely.
I was born with light hair. I was born blonde, but
Sophie was a blondie.
I was a blondie.
That happens a lot. A lot of people, they're blonde when they're younger, and then they get dark haired when they're older.
Well, I've never dyed my eyebrows, but as I got older, my hair got darker, and I didn't
Hmm.
like it, so I dyed it, and then it went horribly wrong to like a
Mm.
yellow light bulb, and I had
Oh,
to then dye it black, and then now it's just kind of dark.
that sounds terrible.
It was it was awful. I'm trying to find a picture of it because people at work don't believe me that I was like bright yellow, but I
Yeah.
can't find a picture because I think I have one picture of me with yellow hair, and I can't find it.
In
I used to
my
have
my
white hair.
opinion, if you're healthy, I don't think it really matters what color your hair is, because if everything else is healthy, it doesn't seem to make a difference.
No,
I
but I
I
think
see what
we
you
all
mean.
feel good with a new fresh haircut, or
I
you
think what
do.
Rick's saying is like if there's one thing to go unhealthy or look unhealthy, the hair's going to be the first thing because it's like
Oh yeah,
the most unnecessary thing we have. Like we don't really need
yeah, yeah.
hair. It's
Right,
helpful maybe to keep you warm, but outside of that, we don't need it.
right, right.
Not look
Yeah.
weird because I think if I had no hair, I'd look weird. Like if I
Well,
shaved my head.
exactly. But yeah, like you're saying, I think a lot of times that's the first thing you'll notice. Usually the skin or the
Mm,
hair. A lot of times you see it in their face when someone's unhealthy. That's
yeah,
usually what I've noticed.
like under the eyes and like the
Like mine,
texture of the skin.
Oh, look at
I've got
mine. Mine are. It's just the
I've got
shape
dark
of
eye
my head.
circles.
Mm,
Mm.
It's just the shape of my head. They're not really dark. It's just I think the way the structure is. Like I said, compared to the average skinny person, I look a lot different. I don't look like some of my vegan friends. My vegan friends, they tend to have more of I don't know, a concentration camp look.
mm.
That, and they
Sure.
get upset so easily.
Yeah. Should we answer some questions? I've got a super chat here. I'll do Joey's first. So thank you for the donation. Your $4.99. Appreciate that. So Joey asked, I make butter may and sometimes throw the whole egg in after washing it. Are eggshells a bioavailable source or form of calcium? Sophie, you're first.
Um, I have no idea whether it's a source of calcium, but I know that I have accidentally dropped some eggshell into my shake, blitzed it up with it, and didn't know a damn thing
What, until you found half the eggshell just left on the side and half it? That was
until I was like,
fixing.
oh, hang on a sec, where's the other part of my eggshell?
Yeah.
And I know that you've done the same thing of you've dropped it in there and you've gone, oh well, bugger it, it's in there now, blitz it up. But
Yeah, I
I would
don't
guess it
care.
probably is a form of
Yeah.
calcium, but I don't. I'm not scientific enough to know
Rick,
that.
what do you think?
I don't know, but I don't even know if you can digest mineralized calcium. I know when I was a kid, my parents used to give me bone meal tablets, but they didn't seem to do much of anything. Normally, what I do with the eggshells, I throw them outside. Now, I do know that ducks will eat them. Sometimes when they're laying eggs, they eat the eggshells, but I don't know if they're digesting the calcium or the protein in the egg, because there seems to be both.
Yeah, so I looked into this about 2 weeks ago. They are a very, very, very rich source of calcium, and it is actually well absorbed. It's a very like whole food format, so it's not a problem. The only problem is that people have is digesting it. I've known some people that have had eggshell come out basically. So if you're going to be using it, I'd blend it up, and I've done that loads of times. I've sometimes just chuck the whole egg in. One thing I will say is I would not be doing loads of eggs. I wouldn't be doing more than one egg at most daily, just because it's so much calcium.
Mm.
When you flood your body with too many minerals, it is a stress to the body, so it's not a good thing to do. You also have a high requirement of vitamin D to direct the calcium where it needs to go and absorb it. Then also the vitamin K will have to go up as well. So I personally wouldn't be doing it deliberately, but I think chucking in like half an eggshell every now and then wouldn't be a problem. So
Mm.
just blend it up, blitz it up. Good
Yeah.
question.
Look, you won't even know it's there.
It'll have some collagen structures in it as well, but it won't have as much collagen as fatty meat, like beef. So it'll have just for completeness, I'll say it has that in it really. All right, we've got one more question, guys. Keep your questions coming in. We're very excited to help you out today and give you some advice from Rick and Sophie. So regarding Rick's ducks, how how
How often do ducks make eggs, like brood eggs, or lay. I think is our
Breed.
is the
I
right
mean, maybe it means
terminology.
breed.
Brood, sitting
How
on
often?
eggs.
How often do ducks sit on eggs? More or less often than hens. How about nutrition value and taste? Any difference? You're the expert on ducks, I
Oh,
think.
I know everything about ducks. That's not a problem. First of all, it
Okay.
depends on the breed of duck. Most ducks, they're going to be mallard derivatives. They're typically going to be either the Pekin duck or the Cayuga or whatever it is. There's different varieties that are mallard bred. They tend to lay eggs on a regular basis. Those ducks can lay an egg a day just like a chicken can. Now, with the more wild ducks, the wild mallards are seasonal. They only lay eggs around the spring. And the Muscovy ducks, like I have, they are seasonal. They will typically lay in the spring, summer, and fall. They will lay 3 different clutches of eggs every year, and then the mother will sit on the eggs. Normally, she'll sit for about 35 days. They take a few days longer than the regular duck, and then they will stay with the young until they raise them, which can be 3 to 4 months. And then after that, they'll start laying more eggs. Now, if they lose the ducklings, which often happens because the predators get them or they get away, it may take them another month before they start laying again. But these ducks generally will lay seasonal. They'll lay up to 20 at a time, and then they will, cease laying, sit, whatever. A lot of times, what I do, I'll remove the eggs and I'll leave them with 3 or 4 eggs, and they will still sit on 3 or 4 eggs. It doesn't matter because what I do with most of the eggs, I eat them.
Yeah.
Now, as for the taste, they taste almost like chicken eggs. The yolk is bigger, and it does tend to have more of a dark color to it. I can't really tell the difference, but the egg when it's scrambled, you can definitely tell it has more of a seafood taste to it. I don't know how to describe it's not really metallic, but it has sort of a cross between like snapper or grouper or one of those other fish. It's a little bit different. It's very subtle. You wouldn't notice the difference for most people. Plus, I use so much butter when I'm cooking the eggs. That's pretty much what you taste the most of.
What's your butter to duck egg ratio?
Um, it's probably 5 to 1 or something like that. I may put 5 times as much egg as I put butter. I use cast iron pans, so I use a lot of butter. I put
Yeah.
probably that much butter in there and then swirl it around, and then I scramble the eggs and dump it in there, and it basically floats on the butter. Everybody else I know uses a non-stick pan. I don't like those things. I only like classic cast iron.
Yeah. Well, fair enough. What do you think, Sophie? What do you think?
Well,
You've tried different eggs, haven't you?
yeah, I've tried duck and chicken, and obviously we want to try goose, but we haven't managed to get any. But the duck eggs are definitely bigger. If there is a difference in taste, it's not massive enough for me to remember. Like, it's not a substantial difference for me to go, oh yes, duck was obviously a lot nicer. But they are a lot bigger. Although actually our chicken eggs from our butchers are massive.
Rick,
But
our
the
chicken
yolk-
eggs, we're not joking or exaggerating. They're over 100
Let me get
grams.
Let me get some. Hang on.
You sure
get
they're
them.
coming out of a chicken, not a duck?
I don't know
No,
what
no,
they're coming
that's
out of, but
chicken.
they taste pretty nice and they're fucking huge.
Let me get some. Hang on.
We have wild chickens around here too, but they're smaller birds.
that.
Ah, look at that.
That is it. Oh,
It looks like a duck egg.
That's one of
Nice.
them. And here's another one.
Oh yeah,
Some are like more squashed, some are a bit longer.
yeah.
And then
Well, a lot of it depends on the particular duck that's laying it. Some of mine are more pointy at the end, and some are more rounded.
So if you chuck them on the scales and show everyone,
well, I've got one from the shop.
show
So
the big
this-
boys.
This is from like a Tesco's, like a shop, like a grocery store.
Yeah.
Um,
What's that like? 60 grams, 56 grams, well, maybe 60, 65.
hang on, it's rolling. Hang on. Here we go. It's 61. Can I turn the camera around on this?
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see that.
No.
Probably not. My camera skills are atrocious. But that's
Is that-
60 to 61. And then the big boy
Big boy.
is 84.
That's a small one.
Mhm.
And that's a small one. I've lost it. There he is. So you can see the difference. Hang on.
Yeah,
Hang on.
definitely.
There you go.
That egg, could you eat that egg? Rick, bear in mind that's a small, big egg that we get.
Yeah.
So, oh my god,
Yeah.
that's incredible.
Or at least you have access to good eggs. That's important.
And they taste really nice. Like I can taste this. Like I find the ones from the grocery store are a little bit more watery. The yolks, not the yolks. Sorry, the whites
Oh, yeah.
are a bit more watery from the grocery store than the butchers. But
One thing I've noticed is that my duck eggs are much harder to crack. The shells are much stronger than the grocery store chicken eggs.
The
I
duck
can-
eggs
I
are
can-
the membrane around the yolk itself, like the embryo, is much thicker. So you almost have to pierce through that as well.
Right. They have to be stronger because the ducks, they roll them around all over the place. And then on top of that, sometimes the males will try to mate with the females while they're sitting on the nest. So you'll have the female on the eggs, the male on top of that, and the eggs don't break. So the eggs have to be strong.
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
I
the
guess
yolks are
that
more
makes sense,
golden,
yeah.
aren't they? They're more
And my
orange
ducks
and
are
black.
crazy. They're always trying to mate. It's crazy.
What do I
Wonder
think
Girl
about
devil.
eggs?
You love them.
Nutritional value of duck eggs is slightly better in some ways than chicken eggs. Usually the omega-3 content is a bit higher, but it's not like a huge difference. It's not like a deal breaker. What else did he ask? The taste wise, I do notice a taste difference. They taste almost earthier. It does depend on the feed that the animal has, but it's like having raw butter versus a block of butter from the shop. You know, you can taste the subtle difference. Or if you have raw milk versus standard pasteurized milk, I notice a difference. If you put 2 plates in front of me, I'd notice a difference. But I've got quite attuned taste buds, so.
Yeah, you
But
do.
The one thing I notice as well is the I don't know how to describe it. So the duck egg white is sometimes a bit snotty. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a bit when it cooks through white, the colour's a bit different. I don't know how to explain it. It's almost slightly more clearer, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, that's usually the case. I know that they are thicker. That's why people used to tell me that bakers preferred duck eggs because they were more rich.
I think the yolk to white ratio is a bit better as well. Geese eggs are where it's at. Oh, they're good. Quail eggs are quite good as well.
Yeah, you just
Which
got to
one
watch
is
out
it?
for Mama Goose. She's kind of mean.
We've got Rick's about I'm trying to think about 100 meters behind the house. We've got a river and swans lay there. I keep thinking about it, but I think it's really illegal over here. I think it's really illegal, so I don't know.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think swan's the royal family's animal, isn't it? It was the queen's animal. So.
Yeah.
Well, the ducks around here are considered invasive, so people always want to get rid of them. So, I've actually had people pay me to get rid of the ducks. I'll catch them and bring them here, and then I decide what to do with them next.
That sounds like a Rocky Balboa training scene. Imagine like Rick, 6'6", 6'7", just like running around with like gloves on, trying to catch this like duck.
Oh, you don't know the half of it. That's me trying to catch a duck or an iguana. People laugh. Look at this crazy guy running down the street trying to catch this duck or iguana. But no, normally what I do with the ducks is easy. I just bring a bunch of food and start throwing it there, and then I throw a net over them. Then I can pick them up and stuff them in cages. Then I'll bring them here to the house to figure out what to do with them.
Yeah, that's good. I'm quite fortunate. I've got a place literally 200 to 300 meters away from where I'm sat right now. It's like a farm shop that opens on Saturdays, but it's under a gazebo, so it's quite on the spot kind of thing. I get raw milk there, raw cheese. I can't get raw butter. I don't think they do that. But they do some different meats and stuff, and it is quite nice there. So I've got, and they do good eggs. I must admit, they do very good eggs. So
That's excellent.
yeah, we do pay a lot over here for raw milk. It works out about $3 per litre.
It's like double what we pay for in the shop, isn't it?
About double, yeah, no joke. It's annoying, but I drink about 1 bottle every 2 days, so it's okay. $1.25 a day, but per like gram of nutrient, it's probably the most expensive thing I eat. or drink?
Yeah.
I don't drink milk, but I do make yogurt. In fact, I had some that I have incubating right now. I haven't checked on it, but it'll be ready soon.
Yeah, I need to do that, Sophie, with the raw milk at some point.
Yeah. Try it.
We've got loads of those bad boys, haven't we? The big ones, the grains.
Yeah.
Oh,
so-
like the kefir?
Yeah, I started with like maybe a tablespoon, but now like a shaker this size is full of
that
grains.
Yeah.
Within
It's
about
at least
4 or 5
half
months.
3/4.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
insane.
When I made my yogurt, I just used bacteria from outside. I got it off of banana leaves. So I put
remember you saying
banana
that.
leaves. Yeah, I put banana leaves in the milk, and then I have my yogurt is a little different. I'd have to show you. It's probably ready by now, but it's different than what you'd normally see in the store.
Mm.
It's not blue, is it?
No, it's white.
Yeah.
In fact, let me see if I can. I'll get it for you.
Yeah, sure. When you exercise with mitochondria a week, it's hurtful. Yeah, I agree. I'm doing a little biohack at the moment to increase my mitochondrial capacity. Involves doing sensible things and eating sensible foods. Nothing too drastic. I picked up some little hints and tips from Bart K about that. So anyway, let's look at this. We got. Oh yeah, it's got like a film, like almost like a film on the top of it, like
Yeah.
where it's got sediments to it almost.
Right. It's got like a liquid on top, and then it's like a yogurt. It varies anywhere from solid to somewhat liquid. So when it's solid, I'll eat it with a spoon. When it's liquid, I just drink it.
Why not?
Yeah.
So I don't drink actual milk.
Yeah. It's probably. I'll probably say it's probably healthier to have yogurt. Just because it's been processed in some kind of way that is ancestrally compatible.
Right.
Less lactose, which isn't really a problem if you can't digest it, but if you can digest it, but if you can't digest it, it's a problem.
It's good.
Rick, do you just have it as it is, or do you ever add little tasty things to it?
I just have it as it is. That's all.
Yeah, fair.
I eat a very, very basic diet.
Yeah, yogurt, banana, duck, iguana, eggs, beef, butter, and that's pretty much it. Isn't it?
That's pretty much it. I eat cheese as well once in a while. But like today, I've had eggs. I had steak and eggs for breakfast. And then for lunch, I had 2 pounds of top round. And then for dinner, I'll probably have some more of the top round along with the yogurt. So yeah, I don't even use salt. I don't use seasoning or anything. It's just for some reason, I like the flavor of the food as it comes. It's actually good.
I think we are trained in a way to like salt, just because, like people like you, Rick, you probably not had a processed food diet for much of your life at all, like virtually none.
No.
Near enough.
Virtually none.
If you come from a processed food diet to your diet, there'll be a period where you're going to have more salt. Yeah, I think my salt intake has decreased a lot. I don't always salt my food nowadays, to be honest.
Yeah.
Sometimes I forget.
Hardly ever actually resalt it, isn't it?
Yeah, to be fair, I do eat a lot of butter though, don't I? So
Yeah.
the butter is sometimes salted, so that adds a bit to it. Then if we eat some cheese, it's got quite a lot of sodium.
I've had people tell me that the yogurt that I eat is so plain. How can you stand to eat it? But when I try to eat yogurt from the store, it makes me feel sick. You know, I've had people give me yogurt, but it has sugar or something in it because when you eat it, it's so sweet. And I spit it out. I actually spit it out. This is terrible. I said, when I go to the store, I said, let me get some plain yogurt. And I looked everywhere. The one store here did not have a single plain yogurt. You know, there's a store called Sedano's. It caters to Cubans and Latins. Everything is sugared. The Aldi does have plain yogurt, which is good. And the Whole Foods, obviously, I don't go there because it's too expensive, but they do also. They have different natural yogurts. But the Publix over here, they don't even have plain yogurt. It's all with some kind of fruit or some other flavoring, or I don't know. See, my problem is I don't like the taste of fruit. I had to force myself to eat fruit when I was younger. I don't like vegetables. I don't like any of those things. If I had my way, which I obviously do, I would just eat meat and dairy. And I love seafood, by the way. I haven't eaten much of it because I don't have access to it now. But when I did, I would eat seafood daily. I love shrimp. There's nothing like boiled or fried shrimp. I love fish, snapper, grouper, whatever I can get, even sardines. I can eat 4 cans of sardines and I love it. People say, "Oh, sardines are disgusting." No
Rick,
problem.
what do you think towards a sardine fast?
I don't even know what that is. I've seen people talk about it, and then they go, "Oh, how disgusting!" Is it just they only eat sardines? Is that what it is?
Yeah, so the idea is through some of their affiliate links, you go onto Amazon and buy tins of sardines, which you pay, I don't know, $4 or $5 per can for. You might buy 2 per meal. So you're spending I don't know how much money on sardines each day. You're eating sardines for, I think it's 3 or 4 days straight.
Okay. Yeah, because I would go to the store and get $1 a can for sardines. They have them at Aldi all the time. My favorite is cod livers, but I haven't seen those in a while. I used to love to eat those cod livers.
I'd probably eat them, to be fair. It's quite easy to get down. We just don't get them over here. We can get chicken and duck and lamb. No, sorry. We can get chicken, lamb, pork, duck, veal, venison liver. Some of them are a bit harder to get, but for the most part, you can get those in most places. But yeah, outside of that, we don't really get anything interesting.
When I was younger, I used to gross people out by eating liver raw, and they would bet me I couldn't do it. I'll give you $10 if you can eat it raw. Oh, sure, no problem. I'd eat the liver raw. I didn't even cut it. I just start chewing on it, and they go, "Oh, how sick! It's disgusting," and this and that. But I always got paid for it, so I guess in a way, that was long before YouTube. So that's one way to make money on a carnivore diet.
Yeah.
It's funny how our diets trends have changed over the last few years. Like my nan eats liver, but she won't eat like steak or like lots of meat. I don't know what it is. Like but in her generation, in England, you'd eat liver. You might have a chicken roast dinner on the odd day, some onions, some local vegetation, so some sprouts, maybe potatoes, things like that. But there wasn't chicken breast wasn't really a thing. People didn't really like having that at Christmas time. It is like, I want the thighs or something, the juicier, fatty meat.
I hate chicken breast. I hate chicken breast.
I don't like it on its own. I'll say that much. But I do have it with butter and salt and pepper and spices sometimes.
There is a good use for chicken breast, and that's when I make pizza. Now there's an idea that I don't eat pizza, which I guess is technically correct because I find it disgusting. But I do make my own pizza, and it is really good because instead of using flour, I actually take chicken breast and put it in a blender, which is probably the only time I ever use my blender because, when you're a carnivore, what do you need a blender for? But I have one of those Vitamix that I got from, I don't know where I got it from, a yard sale. My dad used to do a lot of blending, and he had juicer and all that stuff. But I figured out, hey, I could take this chicken breast, which I hate, blend it up, mix it with eggs, and you can actually make your own pizza crust. So you flatten it out, you put it in a pan, and you bake it until it gets hard and it sticks together. Then you can load it up with ground beef. You can put sausage. You can put cheese and just load it all up. And it's so good. It's like, it's a delicious pizza. And it doesn't give me diarrhea like regular pizza.
To be fair, pizza is the one thing that really... Pizza, chocolate, and berries of most kinds really mess me up. They're things I just should not eat. Pizza is so bloaty. It's the bloatiest food of all for me.
Pizza, first of all, I don't like the way it tastes. It has sort of a greasy kind of... It's terrible. I always say it's duck food because every time somebody has leftover pizza, I take it, I give it to the ducks, and they'll pick it apart. Usually, the funny thing about ducks, they grab the cheese and the sausage and all that first. Then they start picking away at the crust. It's funny.
Yeah. I used to work at Domino's, Rick, honestly, and it's not something I'd buy or choose to eat, really. I'd have it just because it's like a novelty, but Sophie, when was the last time I had pizza?
I don't think we've ever had a takeaway pizza, and we've been together since
I
January.
had half a slice in...
We had it at Pizza
the Sheffield
Hut.
thing. Yeah, about a year and a half ago. But recently, we had it at the Sheffield thing at the buffet. I had half a slice, didn't I?
Oh yeah, tiny.
Yeah, so one triangle, like a normal sandwich. I had half of it, and I was like, Wait, that's a waste of time. I didn't. There's no sort of like hit with it. No sort of like.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it. I didn't feel better for eating it. I just felt, oh, that was chewy, tasted a bit greasy. All right.
Right.
But I went
Yeah,
back like 10 times to get the chicken and duck and
yeah,
stuff.
there's nothing exciting about pizza, but there's definitely exciting about steak. Because every time, like if I go to a friend's house and they have a get together, they know that when Rick is coming, make sure you have steak. And they'll usually give me a T-bone steak or something pretty decent. And then, I always help cooking on the barbecue. But boy, I can knock out as much steak as they have. The last time we had a get together, I think I ate 2 pounds of steak because everybody was getting full. They were loading up on all the bread and all the other. They had some kind of casserole. They're all going for that. I was like, then I saw the steak, and I'm looking at that steak sitting there, and, oh, do you want it? Oh, no, you can have it. And I think a lot of times they laugh because they see me eating all this meat. How much can he eat? And sometimes, I'll eat chicken, I'll eat fish, whatever meat there is. Oh, don't worry, if there's any leftovers, give it to Rick. If he doesn't eat it, the ducks will eat it. So nothing ever gets really wasted.
We don't either. I've got a George down here, and he just eats whatever. Earlier, I gave him some, I think it's some fish oil from a bottle. About maybe a quarter of a pound of cheese, and I think he gave him some yogurt or something that was going off in the fridge, and he loved it.
Mm-hmm. You'd be surprised what animals will eat.
Yeah, he does. He does like fatty food, like cheese and butter. He's big on. But, he's looking a bit thin, aren't you, George?
Most of the pets that I've had have been cats, and everybody used to say, "Well, that's the right pet for a carnivore." I've been called caveman and carnivore for years, and people would laugh at me. My mother, when I took care of her, she says, "I don't understand. You never eat dessert." I said, "No, I don't like dessert." "Well, you should have a little bit." "For what?" I said, "Okay, I'll take it, but don't give it to the ducks." "Well, that's what I'm going to do with it. I'm not going to eat it." So it was a little frustrating. And then if my mom wanted something baked, I didn't know anything about baking. I don't even know how to make bread. The only thing I can make is a lump of coal, basically. It's terrible. I think to myself, you go through all this work. You have to mix this together. Then you have to roll it, and you have to knead it, and do all this nonsense just to get something to eat. When you could just get a steak and throw it in the grill or put it in a pot and then do something else in 20 minutes, you're ready to eat. It's so simple. Why would you go through all this aggravation, all these recipes and cookbooks and all this other nonsense to eat when you can eat something so quickly? I said, look, if you want to have a simple diet, just eat meat and fruit. You can eat meat, you can pick a fruit. You don't have to do anything. You can eat the meat barely cooked if you're into that, or raw if you're into that. It doesn't matter, but you don't have this complicated list of ingredients. I had cookbooks all over the place. My mother had hundreds of these things, and I gave them away or threw them away because what's the point? All this work for nothing.
I think the problem is they're addicted to their next hit. So I think, how creative can I make this food? I used to do the same after my bodybuilding competitions. I would think, oh, it's not enough just to have a bowl of ice cream. I've got to put sweets on it, like candy and weird stuff and syrup and sauce. And oh, that wasn't enough. Or I need something a bit salty now. So I'll put peanut butter on it or something weird. And looking back, it's obvious to me. I'm just eating things for the sake of eating it, and I never feel better for it. So.
That's interesting because I never could understand. People go crazy for ice cream. Around here, you have the ice cream truck. Well, we used to. I haven't seen it in years, but there used to be an ice cream truck, and it had a little bell, and it plays some music, and you'd hear it coming. All the kids would run out there with their money. They would get ice cream or a snow cone. A snow cone is basically just sugar water with shaved ice, and they'd go for that, and it was really exciting. And every time that somebody would give me an ice cream, I would start. I'd take a bite out of it and I go, I don't like this. It makes your teeth hurt. It doesn't taste good. What is the attraction to ice cream? Oh, it's great. It's great. To me, I'd rather have a piece of fried chicken than an ice cream. So I don't know what it is. For some reason, all the desserts just never appealed to me.
I like a few things. I like sugar-free ice lollies. And I actually have more of them when it's hot, funny enough. I make these butter bites, but I've started adding cream to them to make them a bit bigger. They're almost like ice cream. Imagine like a hard ice cream. What else to make? A carnivore cake. Basically, ways to put butter in something which makes it more palatable for me to just eat.
Instead of just
But
eating
it's not.
it.
It's not for everyone. It's not like I wouldn't be telling people, you need to eat these foods. It's not essential. It just makes it more palatable.
It's funny you mentioned butter because when I was a kid, a lot of times when you went out to eat, they would give you a basket of bread and then they gave you these little paper wrappers with butter inside. Well, what I used to do, my mother would say, well, you have to cut the bread in half and then spread the butter on the bread. And I thought, that's ridiculous. I would just take the butter, open it up, and pop it in my mouth and eat it. Oh, you're not supposed to do that. That's not how you eat butter. I said, why not? There's a lot of it here. I just used to do that all the time. Just pop it in my mouth, eat the butter. And even today, sometimes when, breakfast, if I'm in a hurry, I may just eat some butter along with the egg and then leave. So it doesn't bother me to just eat it by itself.
I've done that. If it's quite a warm day and the butter over here is in the pot, we keep it out usually and it's melted. So I'm cooking some eggs up. I got the pan out, I've preheated it. Then I'll just put my finger over the butter. So he probably knows I'll do this. Then I'll put some of it in the pan and I'll lick the rest because it's like a little treat while I'm cooking.
Then you leave a finger mark in the butter.
I leave a big finger smear of my fingerprint on it.
Big dip. So I know when Jonathan's been cooking because he just scooped a load of butter.
I used to eat it out of the refrigerator, just take a solid piece and eat it. That's how I always did it. Just, I don't know, to me it seemed natural. But then again, I was a crazy kid that used to like cod liver oil. So I have some very strange taste.
Yeah. I'm going to go into the public chat right now and just scroll through quickly to see what people said. Just a sling while getting to... Well, so this is Richard, by the way. He's a supporter of my channel and Harry's channel. Very nice to see him. He's in Australia, I believe. Yeah.
I'm going to be heading off in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, Sophie's got to do stuff about things.
Well, I've
Good evening,
been
Christopher.
in from work like an hour before I came on this. Had to sort the kids out. So,
what did the girls say when they went to bed?
Tilly wanted to sleep in my bed again because her bed's not comfortable apparently, and Maddie.
Do you just think she is me?
I think she just wants to sleep with me because it's company.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, but you don't try and come in when Jonathan's here. She's like, well, I just miss Jonathan. I was like, you got to wait till next week.
That doesn't surprise me at all. She should miss me.
She does.
No.
Every day I hear, when is he coming? Next week.
Yeah, that's sweet. What about the midget? What does she say?
She just wanted some milk and she just said hi. And Granddad taught her something. He was like,
no.
So what's the opposite of low? Hi.
Brilliant. That's a new party trick. Yeah.
Well, what do you get if you smoke too much marijuana? Hi.
Yeah. Granddad Steve, he's funny, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's got a good sense of humour. He's like, he cracks so many jokes sometimes. I'm not even sure what he's saying half the time. Like, I don't expect it 'cause I'm a bit oblivious. He slips it in.
He
Yeah.
suddenly slips it in, and then you just see him in the corner cracking up. Me cracking up because I've noticed that he's done it, and everybody else is like, "What?" And I'm like, "Give it a minute, you'll get it in a second," because he just subtly slips it into the conversation.
Yeah. Oh god. All right.
She said about hi like 10 times in a minute when I got there. I was like, "Say another word," and then Granddad showed me the trick that he taught.
We'll have to get the girls on a live stream one day.
We can do, yeah.
We have to put it up at 6 though, Rick, because they sleep at about 7. So an hour early, basically.
That's fine.
Or it could just be like 15 minutes early, and then they just come on for like 10 minutes, and then I put them to bed.
Oh yeah, true.
Could just
Yeah,
be
we're quite strict with timings, numbers.
Well, because they're awake the same time, whether they go to bed at 7 or 8. So it's like go to bed at 7. They get an extra hour sleep. I get an extra hour piece. Win-win.
Yeah.
Win-win.
Schwarzenegger tossed whole raw eggs into his protein shakes. Probably, yeah. I wouldn't go. I mean, I'm sure Lambs knows this, but I wouldn't be going to Arnold Schwarzenegger for health and nutrition advice personally. I'm actually debunking I won't say who, but a training expert from, I believe, the 80s in an upcoming video. So I'll probably film that tomorrow. So that'll be interesting. It's like a 4-minute clip, the video I'm analysing, but by the time it airs, it'll be about 15 minutes long. So keep your eyes peeled for that one.
Exciting. Right, well, I'm going to say goodbye now.
Yeah. All right. See you in a bit. Have a good one.
It was
Send
nice
love
to
to
see you
the
both.
people that say things.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for joining. I'll leave
yeah.
it to the chaps to wrap it up.
All right. See you in a bit.
See you later.
All right.
Excellent. This is the encore, Rick.
Okay.
Eggshells in a digestive tract better than fibre. Probably we don't have cellulase in our gut, but we do have protease and lipase. They're two things that are probably, especially protease, that are strong in concentration within our gut. So we could digest eggshells in our gut. We can digest bone in our gut. Like I've accidentally swallowed like bones and things. Like when you're eating a chicken wing, I've accidentally chewed one of them in half and just swallowed it by accident. So yeah, I've not had that come out the other end. So my body must have digested it.
I've swallowed fish bones as well, and it hasn't come out the other end.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's much of a problem. It'll take longer to digest. Collagenous materials are difficult to digest, but it will come out eventually. I just wouldn't make your diet based on blimmin' eggshells. I pasture raised chicken eggs most often. On the occasion I get grocery store eggs, I tend to accidentally strike the egg far too hard and explode it in the pan. Lol. Yeah, I've done that a lot. The best thing to do, I think, is to use the eggshell membrane to scoop out the egg pieces. You know, the shell. That's what I found. They're almost like magnetic. It's weird.
Yeah.
Swan eggs are nasty motherfuckers. Try and get eggs from... Yeah. Yeah, they're aggressive as hell. I took George out for a walk today in the sun, like by the river, and he jumps into the water. I might try and send you a clip or something, Rick, but yeah, it's quite funny to watch. And there are swans nesting in the area. He does get a bit close sometimes, but I'm kind of secretly hoping one day he'll just swoop up and steal an egg for me to eat.
And we don't really have swans around here because of the alligators.
Yeah, I see. Well, they're extinct, or they just don't populate that area, I guess.
You see them once in a while, but when the gator comes in, they're gone.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet. Yogurt recipe sounds interesting. Yeah.
I made a video on it. I haven't edited it yet, but I will put it up online about how I make the yogurt.
Yeah, Rick, you do have some cooking videos, don't you? You've got
a
heart
few.
attack burger, and you've got one where you boil beef, I think.
Yep, and I think I have one making eggs, and there's a few of them there.
You had loads of views on one. I was like, how... It's something so ridiculous, like how to cook an egg or how to make a burger or something like that. And I was like, he's got so many views on something so simple, yet, and so many comments. Like, it's interesting. I was thinking of making something silly like a really rudimentary video just to see what would happen. Like, this is how you fry an egg in a pan.
All my videos are rudimentary.
You've done something recent. I think it was a Q&A where you sat in the sofa where you are now, I think.
Yeah, I had a list of questions. I got to do another one. I just don't have as much time as I'd like, but I'll get it done eventually.
Yeah. Yeah, if you ever want to do it on this sort of format and stream it on your end, that's you're more than welcome to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at sardines are pretty cheap. Yeah, they're about... It works out like 50 cents in my country. It's like 45 pence and not a lot. They're quite reasonable. Yeah, I think some places are a bit more expensive. I guess it depends where you are. I know lambs is in one of the Scandinavian countries, and sardines come from my sort of part of the world. Like within a few 1,000-mile radius, there's a lot of them. So I guess in your kind of area, Rick, there's not going to be as many, maybe. So that's why they might be more expensive.
Yeah, that's true. I used to get most of my fish locally anyway when I went fishing, but I haven't lived there for a while. But who knows? Maybe in the future. I'd catch the shrimp myself.
Oh, hold on. What with your hands?
No, a net.
Net. I was going to say, like, that'd be quite tricky.
You shine a light in the water and then you throw a net. That's how you catch them.
Yeah, we can get some fish over here. I think we can get... I don't know if it's like greybacks or mullet or something like that. Some maybe fish about that long.
Mm-hmm.
We can get them in the river. My stepdad is a fisherman, so we've got a fishing boat, and sometimes he goes out there. He'll be out there for like 2 days straight sometimes.
That's good.
Sometimes he'll catch something. It's handy. Like honestly, if you have a good day, you can fill up the freezer. You just have to be patient, I think.
Right. That's true.
Yeah, yogurt with fruit and is a strange thing. I guess it is a bit. I don't know. I mean, I think I used to have it sometimes, but it wasn't really a thing for me. Sophie will make this like Greek yogurt, protein powder, butter mixture for their girls, just because it's like a carnivore-ish sort of breakfast for them. Because Tilly's quite bad. She's not bad, but Tilly's quite difficult to feed. She doesn't like a lot of things. She's quite fussy sometimes. But if you put like yogurt or protein powder with it, she'll eat it pretty much. She's not too bad though. She knows what she's meant to eat, so that's good. Yeah, you do have some recipe videos. What's the next one? Sorry, the next video.
I'm going to try to make a video on how I make the yogurt. I've been working on that.
Yeah. I owe Lambs an apology. It's not a Scandinavian country. Yeah, sorry, I forgot where exactly you're from. You're Dutch. I always think. Because the thing is, I do speak to a lot of people in that area of the world, and I wrongly and criminally incorporate them together. It's kind of the same when someone says, "Oh, you're British." I'm like, I'm from England, which happens to be in the United Kingdom, which is one of the British parts of the British Isles, which is part of Europe, which is part of the Northern Hemisphere. So, but it's bizarre. I don't like lumping people together because it does take away that cultural identity, I think. Like, you're from Florida, aren't you?
Yes.
So you wouldn't like to be called an American, because there's people I'm sure there's states in your country which you're like, I don't like people much from that state, or I find them a bit weird, or I know there's different kind of bias or ideas you have about different states, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. And a lot of times people speak a little differently. If they're from the South, they may have a Southern accent. If they're from New York, they have a certain way of talking. And it happens here too.
Yeah, I experienced the same thing. I've got a very neutral English accent, but then Sophie's is a bit more Eastern English, if that makes sense. It's a bit more London, so she's got a slight twang to her. I'm trying to think what other examples we have. Yeah, there's not many other examples of people that you would know, really, but yeah, you can travel effectively 50 miles down the road, Rick, and the accent's different over here. So not far at all. Bloating and pizza, yeah. That is not a great one, is it? Habit and custom is very strong and socially bonding. Yeah, I think so. Rick, what sort of customs do you have with your friends or any family members if they come over? Do you have anything you always do, or do you get together at Christmas time?
No, not really. I mean, most of the time, my friends, they go out of town when there's a holiday. Usually they'll come over just to say hi, or when they have some free time. People here don't really do that much. I mean, it's really just mostly work, really not that many activities going on. A lot of the people I know, it's like me, I never go to the beach. There's a beach, 20 miles from here, but it's not worth bothering. There's no sense. It's too crowded. It's hard to get there. It's not even worth it. So most people, they just go to work, they go home, they watch TV, and they go to sleep.
Yeah, I see, yeah. We've got a beach maybe 3 miles from where I live, so you could walk there if you really wanted to. I wouldn't want to do it personally, but it's so busy this time of year. It's horrendous. People always say, "Oh, you live near the sea, therefore you must go in the sea a lot." I'm like, the last time I went in the sea in my vicinity was probably 12, 15 years ago. The last time I went on the beach was last year, so it's not. I don't like sand, by the way, so I don't go on the sand. So I usually just walk along the side, and that actually happened when we went on holiday to a place called Pontins, which is where Sophie, myself, Maddie, and Tilly went. That was basically a sandy beach. I didn't go in the sand, so you can imagine how that went. Basically, I don't like sand at all.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, you got a question, by the way, from Rick. Rick, you got a question from Lambs. Does Rick use a regular shampoo and cleaning products in his household? I'm going to guess you don't use anything, or you make your own.
I make my own soap. In fact, I made a quick video about when I had molded the soap. It's just basically beef tallow or lard, and then either sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide, depending on what I have. That's all I use. I wash my hair and skin and everything with the same material.
Okay. Yeah, I don't use much at all. I use water. Occasionally, I mean, I don't need to use anything now, really, because there's nothing really much to wash. But it does depend, really. If something's there, it's like neutral, clean. I wouldn't say organic, but like something without any like perfume or anything in it, I'll use that. But it'll be like a teaspoon just to sort of foam up my body, get a little bit of cleanliness, especially if I smell a bit. You know, if I've been like doing leg days in the gym and workouts and stuff, and it's been sweaty and hot, I'll use something, but it won't be a lot. So
Right.
yeah. Do you want to end this shortly, Rick, or you're good to go for a little bit?
Oh, I'm fine.
Yeah. Okay, so Scandinavia, Sweden, Norway, and Denmark for the record. I want to go to Sweden. I'm not sure about Norway, but I have been to Denmark. Have you been anywhere, Rick? I'm guessing you travelled much, or no, not at all?
I don't travel at all. In fact, I don't think I've left Florida since 2005 when I went to Las Vegas for a convention. I haven't left the state since.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah. It's all quite samey where I live. There's not anything in another city that which you don't have in your own. I think that's the way they've kind of made the world nowadays, if you know what I mean. Like the 15-minute cities and stuff. Like, if I want to do anything now, I can do it in my own city. But saying that, there's a few things I like to go to. So my brother and I are doing a lot of concerts recently. I say a lot, like a few for me, but a lot for him. So we might go up to maybe 50 miles away to listen to a concert. So we go to a lot of these like old school rock shows and things like Wasp, Airborne, stuff like that. I quite enjoy that. But outside of that, I'm not big on travelling. I'm really not. I don't like going anywhere. I'm quite a homebody, you know. You probably know that about me already.
Yeah, I hate to fly because the seats are so close together. It's extremely uncomfortable.
And it's the leg room as well. Like, where do your legs
problem.
go? You have to kneel, basically.
I have to sit like this. I mean, it's terrible. You know, that's how you have to sit in these stupid airplanes. Or maybe, you know, you can put your foot over your head or something. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm not that flexible, Rick. I can barely get my knee like up to about here.
You have no idea that I can move around like nobody else my age. A lot of times I'll squat down when I'm working and people look at me like, how do you do that? I know 20-something-year-olds that can't do that. In fact, the son of a friend of mine, he's 20, and he says, I don't know how you can do it. I can't do that. His knees are too stiff. Of course, he does eat a lot of sugar, so.
Yeah, definitely plays into it. I've got good flexibility if I get myself in the right position. The problem is getting out of the stretch or whatever it is. So I can bend myself right backwards near enough, but getting out of the position is really dangerous. So I don't like to do it.
Yeah.
I used to do gymnastics and trampolining, so I got quite a bit. Yeah, I've done most sports, believe it or not.
Well, I believe it.
Yeah, but I got to grade 11 in gymnastics. I think there's only 15 grades, then you're a pro or something. So I did okay there, but I just couldn't continue doing it. I didn't enjoy it anymore. I don't know what it was. So I did it up to like the age of maybe 12. I just stopped there. I don't know why. Actually, I do know why. My back gave me grief when I was about 12, 13, so that's probably why, isn't it? Yeah. Rick, are you going to make a video on how you refine seed oils for diesel and how do you obtain them? You get a lot of questions about that, don't you?
Yeah, I have. In fact, I just got through building another tank for my centrifuge. I haven't finished it, but when I do, I'll show you the way that I heat up the oil and filter it and spin it around, and and I just gather it from food trucks. We have a lot of these trucks that they go and they prepare food. They all use seed oil, so I have them give it to me, and then I take that and settle it and filter it, and then it ends up in my truck. I drive around town on that fuel.
So you're saving a lot of money, basically, I guess.
Yes, absolutely. My trucks and my van are very big and they take a lot of fuel, so this way I don't have to worry about going to the gas station.
Yeah, the fuel over here is quite expensive. I don't know what it translates to, but if I go to the petrol station up the road for petrol, it's about £1.45 per.
Yeah,
I think it's per
per
litre.
liter.
Yeah,
Yeah, we go by the gallon here.
yeah. Is a gallon like 4 litres roughly?
Roughly, yes. Maybe
Yeah,
a little bit less, but yeah, about roughly.
yeah.
So it would be for diesel right now. It's about $3.60 a gallon.
It's quite a bit cheaper.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Diesel for us is £1.55, but depending where you go, if you're in a captive audience kind of place, it can be like £1.75.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
that's
believe
about $2, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, very expensive. Something's really expensive over here. It's shocking sometimes.
Well, you have little tiny cars over there. You know, I
We do.
remember they used to have that was a guy, Mr. Bean, and he had that little tiny car. Remember that silly?
I love Mr. Bean. The green three-wheeler.
Yeah. Oh, that was
No,
the
four-wheeler, sorry.
had a four-wheeler, but then there was another guy that had some Robin three-wheeler that he would always tip over every time Mr.
Knock him
Bean.
over.
Yeah, I remember one time Mr. Bean came out of the parking garage. He went out of the corner. The other car goes boop, and falls on its side. So Mr. Bean was such an idiot. You know, he was always rigging something up. One time he put a recliner on top of his car and he was using strings to steer the car. I mean, it's so funny. The only thing I do know is that one time I think he went to a swimming pool and they had a parking garage, and then he had to get in there without paying for parking. And I think he rolled a garbage can over it. And I used to do that a lot when I had to go somewhere where you had to pay for parking. I'd take a garbage can lid, put it over the sensor so I could get out the other way. So I identified with that. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, I introduced Tilly. She's 6 years old now to Mr. Bean about a year ago, and it's her favourite program. Honestly, we've seen every single episode of it in the human version and the animated version. And once I put on the human version, she's like, "Oh, I don't want this one. I want the real one." I'm like,
The real.
"What? This is what the animated version's based on."
Oh,
But honestly, we love Mr. Bean. It's slapstick British humour all over.
oh, I used to laugh every time they put that on the public television station here. Oh, here comes Mr. Bean. You know, it's just so funny because he does such stupid things. He doesn't really say much. Once in a while, he'll say 2 or 3 words, and that's it. And I think one time he went to some military demonstration, and he ended up getting his car run over by a tank because he took the junk car out so he could park close by, and I think they flattened it. There's just so many goofy Mr. Bean videos that I remember seeing.
He released a new one maybe about a year ago, and it's called like the Bee Movie or something. Have you seen that? Or B? I think it's like 5 episodes. I think it's on Netflix or something. It's basically about Mr. Bean. He's hired to look after someone's house who's quite wealthy. Basically, there's this bee that's going around pissing him off like big time, and it's this whole like slapstick humor, like 5 hours long of footage maybe about the bee like chasing him around the house and causing him havoc. In the end, he blows up the I think the beehive or something. It goes into the sky like 1,000 feet or something. That's such a good one. I highly recommend you watch it. Mr. Bean. And have you seen Only Fools and Horses?
I don't remember. I might have.
Okay, if you saw it, you'd remember. It's that
Okay,
good.
then I don't remember.
Probably the best comedy, British comedy you can get. There's
My dad
heaps of episodes.
They used to watch a show called Faulty Towers, and
Towers.
that was what was his name? The tall guy. I forget his name. He was always mad.
I know who you mean. Yeah,
You know.
can't remember his name. Yeah, that's a classic as well. That was. I think more like my nan liked Faulty Towers more. I liked Only Fools and Horses more. But these were made before I was even born, sort of thing. But
Yeah.
I've watched through all the episodes, and honestly, it's one of the best things you can watch.
Then that one with the Hyacinth Bucket Lady. What was that called? Keeping Up Appearances.
Keep Pearsons, yeah.
And the
those-
family. They had
yeah.
one side it was all trashy, and then she's always embarrassed, and it's so.
It's Mrs. Bouquet, don't you know?
Yeah. Bucket. The
John
bucket woman.
Cleese, he says. Yeah.
Yeah, look, Don Cleese, that's the one from Faulty Towers. But yeah, the Hyacinth, the bucket woman, and her husband,
Yeah, that's one my nan and I used to watch all the time.
hmm
It's all nostalgic, all these things, because as much as it is like funny humor, it's who I watched these things with, and like the love and entertainment we had at that time.
Benny
I always think back.
Benny Hill. Benny Hill
Mm.
was the one I always used to laugh at because they would speed everything up and they go running around, and then they had the old man that he used to pat on the head, and all the Benny Hill girls, and it was it was too much. As a kid watching this stuff, it was so funny. And then what was the other one they had? Dave Allen at Large. I remember that one. Remember that show where that was an
Uh,
old one. I was a little kid when they had that out.
probably a bit old for me.
Yeah, it's from the 70s and 80s. It's called Dave Allen at Large. They had all that because our PBS station showed a lot of British TV. One show that I remember very well was called The Prisoner. Do you remember that one?
I'm not sure on that one. No, I think some of these are a bit far back for me. I mean,
Yeah. It
it's hard
might
to
be.
say.
I remember that, but it's
Yeah.
different. It was as a kid I always watched it. The other kids are like, "Why do you watch that? That's boring." I said, "No, it's interesting to me." But it was interesting because I always knew what was going to happen. It's a little twisted, but if you ever see it, it's a show called The Prisoner.
Prisoner.
That's
Okay.
a British, yeah, British show.
Yeah, remind me one day if I don't get back to you on it, what I think of it. Remind me. I struggle nowadays to sit and watch anything. Honestly, my attention span for that sort of thing is so limited. I don't know what it is. As I've become a bit older, well, probably not, but maybe a bit more mature. I've been like less interested in watching things. It's all been like, is it fact? Is it a documentary or something? Then I'll watch it. But outside of that,
I
I'm
gave
not too
I
keen.
gave up TV a long time ago, but I still watch YouTube, as you know.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think is going to happen in like the long term then with the carnivore diet space and things like that? Do you see it taking off more or?
I think it's hard to say because whether or not it takes off more is going to depend on if big business can make money out of it. If big business can make money out of it, they'll promote it and it will take off and then it will die out like everything else. But if it goes the way it's going, I think it's going to increase somewhat and then level off and then it may either stay the same or start to fall down because really out of all the diets out there, this is the one that has the least potential to make people a lot of money. You could make a living off of it, but you're not going to become a multi-millionaire or billionaire from the carnivore diet.
There's not a lot to sell, is there? Really, that's what the problem is.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you think
Yeah.
about it, it's the easiest diet in the world. Once you understand the concepts, anybody can do it.
Yeah. What did you think of the video that I put out earlier? By the way.
That was interesting. I mean, first of all, I thought it was interesting that you were kind of dressed the way that I am, which right there, that was a little
I was presented.
interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But the other thing too is that making a list out of all the factors that are involved. That's kind of important. And I think a lot of times people don't understand the way that the diet actually works and some of the components that it has. They may think it's just something crazy, but there's actual reasons why you can digest certain things better than others. And we know that even though vegetables and fruits may have a lot of available material in them, we can't digest it. So what's the point? I mean, grass has all kinds of calcium and protein and fats and everything, but we can't digest it. So, and I think that's one of the biggest problems with most conventional dietitians and people that are in the nutrition space. They try to make all these calculations about macros, but in the end, that's not actually what you're getting out of it. These foods may have all these things available, but they're not available to us. So what's the point? And
Yeah.
I guess going through it little by little, like you did, maybe it'll drive the point home a little bit better.
Yeah, like I did kind of say, it's meant to be very rudimentary. Like, so basically, what I did was I looked at the talk that I saw from Dr. Baker a few weeks ago, Dr. Anthony Chaffee's talk that he did, which is exclusive content sort of thing, information from Bart K, information from Paris Partners. I put all that together, and I thought, what are the key points I'd want to know if I was a bit on the fence? And that's basically what in my opinion, what I thought was most useful. The presentation of it wasn't great in the way I spoke, but I didn't want to use notes sort of thing. I just wanted to use what I had on the screen. So I thought it was okay. It won't be a blockbuster video by any means, but I'm kind of glad I did it because it means it might shift a few people, sort of thing. It's just a shame I couldn't present it at the talk, isn't it? Really.
Well, I wouldn't worry about it. I've been trying to convince people that the way that I've lived my lifestyle wasn't bad, and they never listened to me. I couldn't even
Mm.
get my parents to eat the way that I do. So if you can't convince people, I don't think even if you're the best speaker in the world, I don't think it's going to convince them because you may be able to get somebody to temporarily change, but when it comes right down to it, they're going to do what they want. They're not going to follow people like us if they don't think that there's something in it for them.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I told you off air about the argument I had with some pescatarians or something today. And with hot weather, me being a bit wound up, not sleeping well because of the hot weather, I did burst the lid a little bit. But it was, they did charge me basically. They did put me in that position to be a bit argumentative. But it's frustrating, like, no matter what I said to them, it is like they couldn't just take any of it. Like, oh, you don't agree with me, fine. Here's a few things to look at: oxalates, tannins, phytates, lectins, deuterium, glycation, Randall cycle. Like just Google any of those, any kind of format you like, but people are ignorant. People don't want to be helped sometimes, and I think that is evolution itself, isn't it? It's Darwinism. So
One
as
of the
sad as it
biggest
is.
one of the biggest things they tell me is, well, vegetarians live longer than carnivores. All the people that are over 100, they're all plant-based. I said, well, those are the ones you know of. You don't know how many people out there are eating a meat-based diet and living a long time because they don't come out. I mean, look, I've been eating this way for years, and up till last year, I don't think 10 people knew who I was. So, there's other people out there. I think a lot of it is just who gets the exposure. And the people that have been pushing the plant based diet, they get the exposure. If you look at I don't know, this guy, Chris or whatever, his channel is called Plant Chompers. He had an interview with a doctor this morning that's 99 or, he's close to 100, and he's been plant based. And that's good. But if you look at him when he was my age, they showed a video of him back then in his 50s. He looks a lot older than I do. So I really don't know if the plant-based diet makes you live longer, but it seems like they always look older. There's a lot of people that live a long time, but they look old most of their life. So I think there's a lot more to it than some of these people are saying. So every time somebody challenges me on the carnivore diet, they say that, you're going to die of a heart attack. You're not going to live very long. But then I say, okay, I may not live that long, but at least I'm not getting old before my time. I may die of a heart attack at 70 or 80, but I'm going to have some pretty good quality years. I'm not going to be super old and frail and sick. I'd rather go quickly than be in a nursing home or be suffering. But
Yeah.
that's the biggest obstacle. There's just no example of a long-term carnivore. I mean, you think about like Dr. Atkins or Salisbury or all these people, they didn't live that long. So they say, well, carnivores don't live that long. But I try to explain to them, a lot of these people may have been sick when they started the diet. A lot of people that are in the health space, they start the diet because they're sick. So
Like
maybe
me. Yeah.
there you go. Maybe their genetics were not good to start with. And by eating the meat-based diet, they actually live longer than they would have on the standard diet. They may have died in their 40s or 50s on the standard diet. So they die in their 60s, 70s, or 80 on the meat-based diet. We don't know. But scientifically speaking, if you're eating foods that are more bioavailable, it just seems like that would be the way to go rather than trying to force your body to extract nutrition from plants, which is a lot more difficult and takes a lot more out of you. And I think that's why a lot of the vegans, they look older because even though they're alive, their body has to work so much harder just to be able to keep up that, you know how it is when you see somebody on the outside, that's a pretty good indication of how the aging process is going along. Unless, of course, they had plastic surgery or other interventions. But anyone that knows me has known me for so many years, I can't even afford to get my tooth fixed because I don't want to go to the dentist. I don't trust them. So I don't get any plastic surgery. I mean, I don't look like I'm 20, but I don't think I look bad for almost 55.
You look alright. Yeah, you got a decent head of hair. You don't look old for your age by any means. I'd say you look a bit younger, if anything.
Right.
But
So the
like
diet,
me,
yeah.
like I look quite aged. I'm 28 years old in 16 days. Sorry, 17 days. I look about the same age as my brother, who's 34. But
Okay.
saying that, I've had problematic life experiences which have probably aged me. I've had medical interventions which would have aged me. I've had use of painkillers, PPIs, chronic use for years of those things because of my health, because of my own individual genetics, my intolerability to different foods and lifestyle factors. My brother's a lot more tolerant than me. He's luckier in that sense, but saying that, it doesn't mean that I can't still enjoy the rest of my life and be healthy. I just have to be a bit more to get to the same level my brother is in terms of health. I'll have to work harder, and there's nothing wrong with that. It just means me as an individual, I need to do a bit more. It's survival of the fittest, effectively, isn't it? Really.
Yep. And the thing is that what you've chosen to do is only going to have a positive effect. If you would have stayed on the standard or the way you were, you'd be in far worse shape.
I think Lamb's made a good point here. There's no scientific evidence on longevity related to diet or any direct reports to epidemiology. It's completely true. Because you can look at population data. It just, what do they seem to apparently eat? That's about it. That's about all you can really extrapolate from there. But I think the best example we have in terms of longevity and diet is, you can ask anyone this, does an animal that eats its proper diet live longer? The answer is yes. What is the proper diet for humans based on our biological makeup, our historical beginnings? Is a carnivore diet, so we'll only live longer because of it. And you kind of said that earlier, so it's tricky to extrapolate from that, because but it does make sense. It is a logical answer. It's the most rational answer in my opinion.
Right.
I don't know what else you got planned for today, because it's probably about 3:00 now where you are, roughly.
It's 3:30. I have some work I have to do here at the house, and then I have a couple of customers I have to call that wanted me to give an estimate. But I have to call them when they get back home from work. That way they don't get too upset. I don't like to call people when they're still trying to do their job. When they get home, one of them is just for electrical work, and the other one is just for a sprinkler system for their garden that's broken. So I'll discuss that with them. And I have other things I need to do around the house in the meantime. In fact, you mentioned it. I need to finish the centrifuge I was working on for my vegetable oil. But it was raining earlier, so I couldn't do any welding anyway. So I'm just, now I think the rain has finally slowed down.
Yeah.
So it's good. Plus, it's too hot in the middle of the day. I'd rather be sitting here under the nice big air conditioner than being out there sweating it out in the yard.
Yeah, it's good to. Yeah, I'm probably going to sit in front of the fan. I might put some YouTube videos on. It's funny now watching YouTube videos. I watch it with a different lens. Someone that is an amateur YouTube video creator. I look at it like, the audio was like this, the video was like this. The way they spoke didn't quite make sense. They didn't highlight this point properly, and it makes you so hyper analytical. So I'm almost envious of you in a way, because you make very off the cuff videos, which seemingly are very easy to make.
They are.
But they, what I mean? They provide some insight. They're unique in a way, so I like that.
Well, the thing is that YouTube is not my career. I've never made a single penny off of any video I've ever put on YouTube. So I really don't care what people think. They have the choice. They can watch it or not watch it. I could care less. I just put it out there because when I see something that I think somebody might benefit from, I'll put it there. And then it's nice to see that I get a lot of good comments. I have some regular people that like to comment, and that's good. And if my experience can help, that's all I'm looking for.
Yeah, it's nice to hear someone upbeat that isn't so. I don't know what the word. There's a song by Adele, and it's "I Drink Wine." That's what it's called. It's not really got much to do with drinking wine, funny enough. But the premise of the song is about not trying to be perfect or someone else, and I like that. So I sometimes try to come across a certain way in videos, and I look back and think that's not me at all. I don't sound natural. I don't sound approachable. I don't like myself in the video, so it's tough sometimes for me to keep the video up, knowing that I presented myself in a way that doesn't match how I want to be seen.
Right. Well, see, everything that I put, that's just the way I am. You'll notice they're all pretty consistent. There's nothing flashing. There's nothing really different. It's just me.
Yeah, I'm just looking at my estimated revenue for the last 28 days, and it's £55.31, about $60.
See,
Incredible, isn't it?
but the way I think of it, it's an investment in your brand and your future, because as you become more well known, then they'll be able to look back on this and see, where you came from. So I think in many ways, it's all part of the process.
Yeah, that's why I'm keeping the first videos up. The really terrible ones that have got crap audio and crap video. So it'd be interesting to look back. But I don't know. I think the best people are the best YouTubers, best people that are able to influence people, are people that can put something up on the screen, just them talking about something very, very, very simple, but explaining it in a nice way. I think for me, that's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see someone like, even if it is Professor Bart K, who most of us like very much. We like his talks, his information. If it is just him, sat like I am right now, with a microphone, brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah.
I don't need anything else. Yeah.
That's true. You don't need all the special effects.
Like, I've got some stuff around here, which you'll see, like the stuff around the screen, that's all new, but it just allows me to put a longer format video out, or do one off the cuff as and when I choose without much thought. So for me, it's a case of practicality more than production value, although that's an added benefit, I guess,
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll wrap this up in a second. I'm sure you've got to get away and do some things about stuff. So it's scorching hot here, and it hasn't rained for weeks. It rained 2 days ago, Lambs, I think. Was it 1 day ago? Yeah. It didn't feel like it, though. It's still 30 bloody degrees. Christ. No idea. Alright, that's about it. Anyway, thank you for coming on, Rick.
Anytime.
Please subscribe to Rick's channel if you haven't already. What is your username? Charger Mopar?
Charger Mopar. It's after my cars, Dodge Chargers. Charger Mopar.
Excellent. Hopefully we'll get some more subs for this. I know you probably don't even care, but it'd be nice to see you get. It'd be nice to see you get 1 million subscribers. Honestly.
It'd be interesting to have enough. Maybe I'll actually, for the first time in my life, meet somebody in real time from YouTube. Hopefully, it won't be an angry vegan.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting some people in the future. Where I'm in the little island that I live in, it's a bit tricky, but I want to meet Bart K, and I want to meet Dr. Chafee, and I want to meet you, and I want to meet Jerome and Harris Panos. So if I met all those people, I'm done. I'm set. I don't need to go anywhere again.
It's good to know that I'm on the list.
You're on the list, yeah. A few other people as well, which I'll mention as well. Lambs maybe one day, and also Matthew. But he's sometimes in the chat. Probably a few other people, maybe Colt as well. Yeah, probably Colt would be good to meet. Just everyone's so spread out, honestly. Even if it's like, go to the States to see Rick. Okay, if I want to see Colt, I've got to travel another 1,000 miles. Like,
Yeah.
It's not ideal. Anyway, cheers for that.
All right.
Thank you very much. Take care.